Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to do a quick video on tracing pins out in a circuit board, an easy way where you can find out where various things are going to. So you're going to need a multimeter with a good fast beep. This is a fluke, which are pretty good as the slightest bit of a touch and we'll get a chirp. If you've got some that are slow, it can be a real pain to try actually track something down. So you do want something with a nice fast response. And then the secret weapon is this. So this is a bit of car amplifier audio power cable, and as you can see, it's made up of many strands of very fine copper wire, and you can use that as a brush. So in the comments of a video that I had up before, someone asked me if I could track down what component was running the DME relay, and the DME relay was coming out of pin 13. So the first thing to do is you can obviously find pin 13. You want to start tracing that place to place and get it inside. So in this case, I've tracked it down and it is this one over here, and there we go. So we have a nice quick beep, and it's the kind of thing, that's why you want something quick on the beeping. If I go back and I find him now, as you want to get it to beep instantly when you're running over stuff. So this case here, this is the pin that it comes into, and I put a little dot on there, and then we need to find out where that goes on the circuit board, and that's where our bit of copper wire comes in. So that now goes on the end. I can just stick that onto my probe like so, one end onto there, and then it's you brush around that copper finding until you get a beep, and there it is. So I know it goes over here. I have in fact already traced this down, so this then goes to one pad over on this side there. So that point there, it disappears and it goes through on the other side of the board. So let's flip it back over and have a look. Now that we've flipped it, we are pretty much able to start again, because we can get hold of pin 13 over here. We know it's going to come through somewhere on this side. So again, we go through with our little bit of a brush and we should be able to find it over here, obviously. Where else does it go to? And again, we can just brush through on each one of these, and it'll capture each one of these pads till eventually, if we have a nice fast response, we should get a beep. And there we go. And that gets you just into the right ballpark, and then from that point you can just go back onto your probe and then figure out what exactly we're on, and it is this side of these resistors. Once we're through, however, we do have a little bit of an issue, as our continuity isn't beeping through our resistors. It is showing 333 ohms on each one of these, and that's too much resistance for the continuity to beep. So you then need to move to the other side and use that as your reference point and figure out what it's going to. And again, we go to one side here of a diode, and we're expecting it then to disappear through onto the other side of the board. And now one of the trickier bits where we're doing it on different sides of the board, but I am held on the far side of the resistors. So we've factored out that 300 ohm resistance, and now brushing again, trying to find out anything where it beeps, and we'll go through all of these things. Again, you can take your time. I'm going through it fairly quick, as there we go. We have now just found it over here, and I think is it on one of these legs? There we go, we've got a via there where it's coming through. So I put a little pen mark next to that one, and that gives us another test point where again we can start checking through. Make sure also we don't touch it. As you can see, just the slightest bit of a touch will be enough to give us a beep. and we're down into here. So we can then go and that's the leg. So this is the chip that goes out then through to that wire, through onto the other side, through resistors and off out to our pin 13. And now our final confirmation, where I have the red probe on pin 13 where it's coming directly out the ECU, and if I find the right pin over here, there we go, there is our 334 ohms direct through the resistors on the other side. So we are going direct from this pin through our resistors we've seen on the other side to this leg on the chip, and that's how I track down this chip as being the one that controls the DME relay. That was a really easy one. All you needed was a piece of wire like this. Remember though, keep an eye out for loose strands of this wire as it can fall off, and you want to make sure you get all that stuff cleaned up. But that's how you can quickly and quite easily trace where things are going on a circuit board, is by going through point to point and then remembering then if you do have resistors in there, that's going to get in the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.